This is my new to me 2001 4Runner Limited 4x4. I bought this car 4 weeks ago for $10,000 with 189,000 miles on the clock. It was bought out of a family in San Mateo who, from based on what they told me, kind of passed it down a couple generations, but always stayed within the family, despite the Carfax showing 5 previous owners, which is kind of a weird detail. I chose to buy this specific 4Runner for a few reasons. What I was looking for in my 4Runner purchase was something that could, give me a lot more trunk space and cargo space than my two Miatas, which that's an easy one, obviously. I wanted something that was dead reliable, could potentially tow, and I'll get into that in a second. Drive me up to Tahoe, 4x4, no chains needed whatsoever, and something that was kind of fun. I like smaller, lightweight cars, and this particular 4Runner is very zippy, which is kind of a weird thing to say about an SUV, but when you compare it to the 5th gen or even the 6th gen, it's a lot smaller of a truck than those are. And what I didn't want to do is buy a huge giant mobile for my first SUV. And so the 3rd gen 4Runner hit that balance of dead to rights, reliability, lighter weight than the current offerings of SUVs on the market today, 4x4 off-road, snow capable for Tahoe runs. I don't really have huge plans of off-roading this. I'll take it off the road camping, but I'm not gonna turn this into like a crazy rock crawler or anything. And could potentially tow. Now, towing was a bonus for me. I track my cars. I don't own a trailer yet, but I could, I would, there is an opportunity for me to go down to like SoCal to Button Willow or Streets of Willow and tow, my Miata on a U-Haul trailer down there and back. This truck is rated for 5,000 pounds, but I wouldn't really push it to tow in its current form. I mean, it's on the original suspension that's got 200,000 miles on it. So if I were to tow, I'd have to throw a trans cooler into this. I would have to add Bilsteins, and I'd probably go stiffer springs on it to get it to be able to tow, and then do some test runs up to Thunder Hill and back. The 4th gen definitely beats both the 3rd and the 5th gen in terms of towing capacity. That V8 can tow up to like 7,500 pounds, which is great, but it's a lot bigger, it's a lot heavier, and it's got a V8 that's just worse on gas than probably both V6s. So that 3rd gen hit the kind of trifecta that I was looking for. And I really like the design of it. I think it's a timeless design. I've liked these 4Runners, specifically the 3rd gen, since I was in high school, and I kind of always wanted to get one. So I decided to skip out on the 4th gen, and I definitely didn't want to outlay $30,000 to $40,000 for a 5th gen that's got 100 to 150,000 miles. That I would rather just buy a new truck at that point than spend that kind of money. And for what the 5th gen is, I don't think it justifies 3 to 4x premium on the 3rd gen, because you're not getting 3 to 4x the utility from it. It's just much more of a refined, luxurious vehicle, but it doesn't have 3 to 4x more functionality or towing capacity or speed or power. It really is just an upgraded 3rd gen, in my opinion, that has more creature comforts, is heavier, more, obviously updated interior and better body styling. But for what I wanted, I didn't really care about that. I wanted a bare bones utility car, and that's what this 3rd gen is for me. In terms of what I was looking for when I was buying this truck, the biggest thing that I wanted to optimize for was no rust. I looked at a ton of trucks on Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist, and either the listings were shady about disclosing the rust, or they didn't want to disclose the rust, or they had rust, or they had reinforced frames, and I just didn't want to deal with any of that. So my biggest thing that I was trying to optimize for was a lack of rust, and I found that with this car. This car did have a little bit of corrosion on the frame, which was caused by a brake master cylinder leak. Brake fluid is like very, very corrosive, and you can see directly where that brake fluid leaked from the master cylinder unit, which failed. I have receipts to prove that, onto the body and then onto the frame. And I took a chance on that because I saw the papers that they replaced the master cylinder. I verified it with the tech in the shop that I took this to, that then addressed it, sanded all that down and then coated it with, I think, POHR, like coating kind of material. And so as the car stands right now, there is zero rust. Now, in exchange for getting a limited 4x4 2001 4Runner with no rust on it, of course, there's always a catch, right? And I paid up on, the purchase price of the car, which $10,000 for what it is now, after owning it for a few months, I think was a bit high. But the interior definitely needs dialing in. It needs a lot of love. The carpet was wet because the sunroof drains were clogged. I think the night before they showed the car, they must have took it into a car wash. It leaked on the inside, and that's why the floorboards were wet. They didn't disclose that to me. I had to kind of piece it all together myself. So the carpet stinks. I need to replace the carpet. The seat belts, they're crusty. They need to be steamed. One of them was didn't retract, and I had to take apart the interior trim to get it to fix. The passenger seat or the driver's seat rail doesn't work. The motor failed, so I bought some manual seat rails I'm going to swap into there. The brakes are warped, which makes sense based off of the brake master cylinder failing. I don't know why they didn't replace the brakes when they did the master cylinder job, but that master cylinder unit itself is like $2,000. It's a very, very expensive unit. I addressed the ball joints as well right when I got the car and got the frame coated. I know that's a huge failure point, and these are probably the original ball joints, so I don't want it to fail on my dime, so I just had the shop kind of replace those as well. And there's a few other little just kind of quirks that need to be addressed. The radio has a mind of its own. It's stuck at one volume level, and if I turn it up or down, it does almost the opposite of what I want it to do. Lighting and visibility outside at night is not great either. I'm just doing a full LED conversion to the truck. And then probably planning suspension, just some nice Bilstein 5100s and some good heavy springs on it. But again, I'm not looking to turn this into a rock crawler at all whatsoever. Really just trying to, make it a good OEM plus truck that gets me from A to B, take me to Tahoe, could potentially tow, and it's just an all-around great third car for us in a car or a household that has two Miatas. So I saw this as a really good opportunity for me to improve my fleets, improve livability, and just have fun, right? This opens a door for me to go camping. It opens a door for me to do more nature-oriented things because I have a nature-capable car. That isn't a track built, purpose built Miata, and then another Miata that's just kind of a nice little street car. And having cargo space, that's a huge unlock. I can take a set of 6 wheels to the track with tools and carry 3 people with me in the truck. I wasn't able to do that before. And if I have the ability to kind of unlock towing, that would be so awesome. I'd be very, very pleased with my purchase if it can kind of fit that trifecta of what I optimized for. But I just wanted to show kind of a first journey or first look of the car as is before I start cracking into it, upgrading things and kind of dialing it in. I love the car. I loved it for the last 4 weeks. It's been really fun. And yeah, I'm really excited to just kind of log the journey here with the truck and kind of, keep the channel updated with my thoughts, the build, and then also probably invest in more longer term content for both of the Miatas and kind of my journey on the track. So hope you liked the video, and yeah, there'll probably be a lot more to come. Thanks.